Hello and welcome to my speedrun through of Young Indiana Jones Chronicles for the NES, which again was one of the games I played through as part of the Big 20 2018. Now, unfortunately, when I was recording this run, for whatever reason, my audio from Retwork didn't get picked up. So we have no actual audio from this particular run, but I do have the Indiana Jones NES soundtrack just playing in the background, just for a little bit of background noise. Let's just hope that that's not actually going too loud. Let's turn it down a smidge at the moment, just for a wee bit of background buzz there. So yeah, I really enjoyed the Young Indiana Jones run. It was probably one of my favourite games out of the Big 2018 at the end of it all. Really satisfying game to speedrun. A lot of people were considering it the most difficult game in the whole Big 20 run, and I would probably agree with that actually. To get through speedily, well, to get through from the start was a huge effort. You can see here I've done 155 runs of this game and only finished 32 of them. Of course, a lot of that, I think that was like 28 out of 32, or you know, something close to it at some point. But a lot of these runs you just end up restarting when you're honing for fast times. And at the point I was running this game, I was pretty comfortable with it. I was trying to go for, well, I think my personal best up to this point was like 16 minutes 5 seconds. And I think the world record's something like 11 minutes and 12 seconds. Might be a few seconds off on that one. But yeah, a very satisfying game to speedrun. And we just get the first split here for Into the Mine, just as our sort of transition here into the mine scene begins. And I'd ran this, I probably had more difficulty with the mine area than most other areas in the game, to be honest. Just doing the boss in particular very quickly, I found a struggle. I mean, I'd ran it so many times at this point it wasn't so difficult. It was just more a case of speed, efficiency, I suppose. And I always tried to sort of do this little skip here over the spikes about the 2-minute mark, so I was actually a bit slow in this run. Lost a couple of seconds within Into the Mine in the first couple of sections anyway. Also, maybe just a smidgen of a delay there in getting the bat to hit me to boost me through, but you know, I didn't mind too badly. Very cautious on that little jump over the spikes, because it looks worse than it is, really. Or it doesn't look as bad as it is, I should say. Throw the grenade at the bat just for flashiness, and then duck under the second one. I was always sort of aiming for about 2 minutes 35, although that's improved slightly, I suppose, when getting down to this little section where you just have to refocus and just wait on the little mine carts, I suppose. Way quicker ways of doing this where you just sort of constantly run through, but I just found it comfortable to wait and chuck the grenade and then you can sort of run up. Kind of just ignore this bat here, it doesn't really play any part. This section could have went a bit smoother. It's nice if you can kill him with the first grenade, but it's not the easiest. I could often get to the minecart section in 3 minutes, but I'd often waste a lot of time fighting this guy. But actually nail 3 out of my first 4 shots and stand right under the golden idol as he drops it, so I end up having a very good minecart section. This section is, I believe this is in France now, during World War I. And again, probably one of the more difficult, not the most difficult, I think the award for most difficult section, certainly in terms of doing it quickly, is the waterfall section in France too. Actually muck up my jump and have to tank some damage from the little, not quite a tank, more of a sort of armoured car vehicle thing there. Initially I would aim to get to the bike on the 4-minute mark, but as you can see I've knocked a good 10 seconds off there, and what I would say is not a particularly outstanding run so far. A little bit sloppy, a couple of missed sort of damage boosts and so on. Do I lose the bike actually? I can't remember. No, I managed to keep the bike here. This section coming up, it seemed very difficult to go through here without taking a hit. But I actually managed at that time. Yeah, I'd ran this game so many times that I was aware of all like the safety plays, like gas masks and hats in Mexico, gas masks in France. So I knew where they were and always had them as a backup. But when you're going for speed, it's obviously something that you don't really want to rely on. Unless there's a section that you just have an astonishing amount of difficulty with. Nice little damage boost here. You don't have to worry about losing that gun because you instantly pick up another one at the top of the cliff. Now there's ways you can do this without stopping at all, but the boots just make it very risky. I wanted to keep hold of the gun for the upcoming boss fight, although if I remember properly, it ended up being not much of an issue as I had to resort to using the grenades. Yeah, I just stand up way too quickly and take that first bullet. So at this point I kind of have to make every grenade shot count. I managed to get kind of 2 off every cycle, and it actually turns out being not too much of an issue. Now this section here, Germany 2, or sorry, France 2, or what I've called in my splits Big Bertha, this is probably one of the more difficult ones I found. Just the fact that you're continually being asked to jump along these narrow paths. It's not too easy to do quickly. And especially, I got lucky there and the enemy threw a grenade as soon as he hit his first 2 bullets, which knew I could instantly jump up and whip him, and carry on my way. Yeah, these little platform sections, they can be a little awkward. There is a technique where you can farm lives here by going up that ladder I just passed, and picking up gas masks, which will continually respawn, but obviously that's a very safe strat that I was maybe considering for Big 20 race day. I didn't end up needing to use it in the end. But obviously when you're doing a proper speedrun, you're kind of just going to ignore that, and really you don't want to go through the... Well, I mean, there's points where you want to take damage. It does help with damage boosts here and there. But broadly you want to go through there taking as little as you can and giving out as little as you can, really. Because it can only slow you down. This screen here, sometimes a bit awkward, the way that top guy throws a grenade can kind of catch it out sometimes. And I maybe lose a second or two jumping over this grenade. I did have the whip as insurance. It didn't really matter if it took damage here, since you pick up the grenade and the gas mask right before the boss fight. I didn't have an amazing boss fight here, certainly not any kind of quick kill. Do get off the first hit reasonably well, but then just kind of muck up the grenade spawn and then have to wait for like a few seconds for that next one to spawn in. Take my time there just in case, and then at this point, as soon as I got off that shot, you kind of know you've got it. Oh no, actually it took another second or two. I had to wait for that other grenade to respawn in, and then another jumping shot to finish. Yeah, there we go. The next split, amusingly called It's a Whip level, referring to the fact that you want to keep your whip till the end where the boss is, because it's so much easier and so much quicker with the whip than it is with any other weapon. With the fists, if you get too close, you'll give you some sort of Zangief style pile driver. With the gun, you can just kind of dodge the bullets, it takes too long. But as you'll see, as I managed to make it through, I'm glad I picked up the gas mask here. I did consider maybe just saving that half a second by skipping the gas mask, but forgetting about that grenade guy's range there made it turn out to be a really good play. And once you've whipped this guy, you know you've got the boss coming up straight ahead. And the object of the game here is just to stand just out of reach of that box and of his pile driver and just keep whipping away. And that's why it's a whip level. This dogfight section coming up, I didn't actually realise this until my friend Mark Mazza pointed it out. There's a number in the top right that represents how many planes you want to shoot down to end the level. Starts at 10, and I nail the first 10 quite well this game. I take a point of damage there, but I basically did it to ensure I could take out that plane quickly. Then as soon as that blimp shoots 2 shots, that's your cue to pick up the bombs, I suppose, which make the last 4 planes an absolute cinch. And it paves the way to the Red Baron fight. Now, this guy, I saw the world record speedrunner, and he tore this guy down in like 3 seconds. It was actually pretty crazy to watch. I went for the more reliable top left corner cheese strat, where you just sort of stand there and fire away until he drops down to the bottom there. And then, yeah, you drop 4 or 5 bombs on him, and that's a fairly good Red Baron fight. Under a minute for that, not the fastest, but reasonable. And at this point, I'd actually ran up to sort of, I would say up till the waterfall segment that many times. I felt like very well versed in those, but very rusty with these last few Germany levels. So I have to admit, my heart was beating a little faster at this point, because I knew I was on a decent time. Kind of trying to aim for that sub 15-minute run. And I knew this would be the level that would make or break it. Although, bizarrely, I don't know, the way that I'd practiced this game, I found, like, the Germany levels not as intimidating as probably the France levels. I mean, I find, like, the mid-game is, like, the hardest bit of Indiana. Certainly if you're trying to do it quickly. I suppose those waterfall sections, if you're taking your time, not so bad. Now, I did consider here using my weapon as a form of damage boost to get past these lasers. Because otherwise, you know, you are standing there for, you know, maybe close to 10 seconds. And there's almost no point in having the gun at this point, because I know I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to skip past these lasers, jump up, get the grenade, and try and keep it till, like, the boss fight. In the end, I chose not to damage boost there, and had I missed the 15-minute window by, you know, 2-3 seconds, I would have been astonishingly disappointed that I chose not to. So, nothing crazy with these sections, nice and smooth. Get the grenade shot from the bottom there, that's quite nice to do. Again, contentious whether it's worth the probably 5 seconds or so to go back and pick up this gas mask. It is worth it if you choose to damage boost through the lasers, but at that point, you know, why bother? You're using the lasers, you're using the mask, which takes 5 seconds to get through the lasers, which saves you 5 seconds, so it's kind of a wash. But I just wanted to be consistent and get to the end here, and having that gas mask just provided that little bit of extra insurance. Took me a while to notice that these red guys fire kind of like 2 little bursts, and then they have a little delay while they reload, I suppose, so once you know how to play around that, it got a little bit easier. Hit that second switch out of 3 with the grenade from not too far away, which was nice. And I wasn't too sure about my pace at this point. Going into this sort of last run-up before the boss, which I've chose to name Weird Tank Guy. I'm sure that's not his actual name in the Indiana Jones lore. But he does move in a weird way, and this upcoming boss is a lot less dangerous than he seems. And I actually get, if I remember, I get like a very quick kill on a Weird Tank Guy here, just by being aggressive and keeping up. A lot of these bosses you just tear down if you keep up the aggression, really. So I get lucky with 3 shots there, and then a 4th shot. That's probably the quickest I've ever taken out that guy, to be honest. And just a case of 4 lucky grenade shots, and on your way. And then we transition into what was amusingly called by a lot of people during the Big 20 run, the Disco Ball, which is the, I suppose, final boss of the game. This section here, another case of just picking up a couple of insurances. You can skip this. I mean, I don't know why you would, because you have to walk up the ladder anyway. And yeah, the gun comes in useful for a couple of these red guys. You can jump past these red guys. I found it very difficult to execute, certainly reliably, so I just chose to take the slow and steady route. Waste a couple of seconds on that little acid drop there, because I really wanted to keep my gas mask. Although I felt quite familiar with the amount of times that I'd practiced this stage going into it without the gas mask. Just a nice little extra bit of insurance against these red guys, because they can kind of ruin your day. Little delay with these acid drops, because I just want to keep the gas mask here. Although it's not essential, there are like 2-3 gas masks you pick up before the run-in in the final level, where you almost definitely want one to walk past the little gas bombs. But I ended up doing this section, I think, fairly well in terms of avoiding. Well, I actually get a very lucky kill on the red guy here off screen. I'd never really done that before. Have to be honest. These guys pose no real threat once you... Yeah, if you don't have a gas mask for those little bombs, you have to do a little bit of an awkward jump, especially to get the grenade. I'd never been hit by that stray bullet from the tank there, but it always seemed like it was just going to be possible. Yeah, that gas bomb I walked past, that is very awkward to deal with if you don't have the gas mask. It's funny looking back how I used to jump in the tank here and then slowly walk along here to take out these red guys without any risk, but if you have the grenade, you're absolutely fine. At this point, yep, my heart was racing a little as I knew that I was fairly close to getting a sub 15 minute. I just knew I needed a fast kill on this boss with a grenade, not to muck it up. And it's a perfectly timed first shot. I actually dodged back a bit there because I think the shuriken's going to hit me. but it doesn't stop getting the required 3 hits to get the sub 15 minute by just a few seconds. So yeah, that was Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, my personal best run. I had a lot of fun with that one, and who knows, I might even go back and run it in the future. But thanks for watching. I've been Mac, and goodbye.